Good afternoon, grinders. This is your SimLabs analysis for Thursday, November 6th. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka BlenderHD. If you want to follow me on Twitter, hit that thumbs up button on your way in the door. You know how much I like the thumbs. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to always know when we go live. Remember, 7:30 p.m. Eastern for our pre-lock show here on YouTube. You get the plays, the picks, all the late breaking news, the inactives, anything we need to know for Thursday night football. It's the Raiders at the Broncos. Not the most exciting of games, I don't think. 42.5 total on tonight's game. Broncos with a 26-point implied team total. The Raiders 16.5-point implied team total. So Broncos are a 9.5-point favorite today. Top projected play on the slate is Bo Nix at 10.6K. We have him at nearly 19 points as a mean. And after that, it's kind of flat up top. We got Ashton Genty, 10.2K. We got Brock Bowers, 9,800. We got Cortland Sutton, 9,600. Geno Smith, 9K. Dobbins, 8,600. Troy Franklin, 7,600. Those are the ones in double digits as far as mean projection. But then we also got some guys like Trey Tucker at 7K, RJ Harvey, 5,600. Obviously, the defenses and the kickers. Evan Ingram, 4,400 with a decent projection. Also, we need to figure out what's going to go on with the Raiders passing game with Jacoby Myers now shipped off to the Jaguars. Last game, we got like Tyler Lockett at 3K, Jack Betch at 2K, Michael Mayer at 2,800 for like 2 tight end sets. But, I mean, the Raiders are a 9.5-point dog. So, obviously, our projections on the Broncos are going to be a bit higher. Of course, the Broncos spread out the ball a lot also. So, I mean, that's the main reason why Bo Nix projects so well compared to everyone else on the team. Because, Sutton could catch, 3 balls for a touchdown, whatever, but not the highest volume of receivers. And they kind of spread stuff out. We don't have Marvin Mims in the projection. We're still I think we're waiting on whether or not he's going to play. But I think it's trending more towards not. So I'm expecting to see a bunch of Bo Nix captain lineups. That probably will be the most popular route to go because we do have some cheapies that we could play. I mean, playing guys like Betch or Lockett or even I mean like Tyler Beatty at 1,400. He gets some carries. I mean, there's something out there. The Adam Troutman at 1,600 could catch a touchdown. Even Raheem Mostert, backing up Genty, he gets some carries. I mean, there's Pat Bryant, right? There are viable options that aren't projected for like, a mean of like less than 1. So there are options on the low end, and it's probably going to be a low-scoring slate in general, 42.5 total. But Bo Nix projects, 4.5 points almost? 3.5 points over Genty for 400 more, and then it kind of gets kind of flat in the 9Ks, 7Ks from there. So I'm expecting, I don't know, I'm expecting to see a lot of Bo Nix captain lineups. But obviously Bowers has a ceiling on the Raiders. I mean, you could legitimately build lineups where Bowers is the captain, you don't play Geno Smith, and he played 5 Broncos. You can. I'm assuming there are lineups that look like that. We'll try to find them. So I'm going to put in large field. I'm going to put in 150 lineups just to see. This is part of the research process that you could use with SimLabs because I'm more likely to use this closer to lock because we update this multiple times throughout the day. So just giving you a sense of how to use the tool. So I'm just going to build 150. I'm not going to play 150, right? I'm playing 1 lineup, 2 lineups, 3 lineups. I'm playing, I'm going for gold, right? I like playing the large field contest, play a couple of lineups, and hope for the best. Try to make a lineup as unique as possible. It doesn't have to be completely unique, but I don't want to make a lineup that is shared by 236 people. So let's see. Obviously, some of the graphics aren't loading very well. Maybe I should reload this in a second. But we have a Troy Franklin lineup, Brock Bowers lineup. I mean, you can see here. I mean, Brock Bowers with Geno Smith with Bo Nixon. So let's take a look at the exposures tab. Okay, they're fixed over here. They're a little We get the Raiders and the Broncos logos here. So maybe I'll just reload. Maybe it's my cash. I don't know. So we get a lot of Bo Nix in the flex. So obviously 86%. But so we're not going to get that much in the captain if 86% is in the flex. But a lot of quarterbacks. Okay. I mean, even Geno Smith is technically, I guess, underpriced at $9K in comparison to the, some of the other guys on the slate. And let's take a look at the captain spot. Now we're getting a lot of Raiders captain. Genty captain, 18%. Bowers captain, 14%. Then we get Franklin, well, because of price primarily. I mean, the difference between Sutton and Franklin may not be all that as dramatic as probably Sutton probably should get more targets, but he doesn't. But we get Sutton in the captain, Engram in the captain, Harvey in the captain, even the cheap Jack Betch captain, which, like, I'll always say when it comes to cheap captains, don't play cheap captains and spend all your salary, because even if he's like 0.5% owned in a 100K contest is how many lineups? Is 500 lineups. And what do those 500 lineups look like? They all look like yours. Because it's like, oh, let's put Jack Betch at 2K in the captain, so we only spend 3K, and then jam in Bo Nix, Genty, Bowers, Sutton, Geno Smith, and I could pay for everyone. And there you go. And then 500 lineups look like that. And your combination is now 86 people have the same lineup. Yeah, but I have a 0.5% on captain. Yeah, but you have the cheap captain. So if you leave 2K on the table and do that's one thing. Okay, maybe you're only duped by 2 or 3 people. But I mean it's a low ceiling lineup to begin with when you're playing a guy that is projected for for 2 for 40, 2 for 30, and maybe a touchdown. Something like that. Not as much Geno Smith in the captain, not as much Trey Tucker in the captain, but the Genty and Bowers in the captain. I mean, I guess the Raiders' attack is a little bit more condensed. I guess. I mean, their ceiling is going to be lower in this game with the 9.5-point underdogs, but you never know. Let me reload this page. Let's see if we get the logos back to make it a little bit easier to read, right? And obviously, you can see here that we have SimLabs for everything, for FanDuel, for the main slate. You can see here for even the international games on Sundays. You have Falcons and Colts here. But one thing I like about SimLabs is that you can use these player filters. Now, you can boost and dock certain players. You want to get more or less of them. But I typically use SimLabs as a research tool. So I want to what do these Bo Nix captain lineups look like? Now, according to SimLabs, I think they're over-owned. You can see here optimal versus projected ownership. And we have Bo Nix as 3.6% over-owned compared to his optimal rate, and Genty under-owned compared to his optimal rate. But if we did lock Bo Nix in the captain spot, what do those lineups look like? So I'm just going to build 20 just to see. So it's not about who to play in the captain. It's like, who do you play in the captain? What does the rest of the lineup look like? So our top lineup here is Nix, Sutton, Denver defense, Troy Franklin, Geno Smith, Jack Betch, right? This probably be way duplicated, right? 500 remaining. This one's 900 remaining, right? You see a lot more Raiders in lineups than I would have expected. Here's Bo Nix in the captain, Troy Franklin in the flex, and then you get Geno, Bowers, Carlson, Betch, right? But if you see, look at this ownership, 10% owned captain, and your lowest owned flex player is 21%. So these lineups probably cash a lot, but you're gonna get duped. I mean, these, like this lineup right here, even with 900 remaining, probably duped 50 plus times, probably, right? Then we start going down from here. Like I'm looking more like this. Okay, here's SimLabs rating 87, not that bad. Ownership is much lower. Bo Nix in the captain with Franklin and Engram, then Geno, Brock, and Meyer, right? So Meyer has probably a similar outcome distribution as Jack Betch does, and maybe like half his own, and playing him and Bowers together because they'll probably be on the field a lot together anyway. So this is a much to me a better lineup, especially in large field. But these Bo Nix lineups don't look that special, right? Nix, Franklin, Lutz, Engram with Geno Smith and Trey Tucker. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, but still here, the lowest owned player in the lineup is 19% owned. Right? At least, when you play Meyer, you get a little bit different, but even these lineups are going to be duped a bunch. I mean, maybe this is the reason why there aren't as many Bo Nix captain lineups that came in our 150 build, is just simply because of duplication factor. We get much more like Ashton Genty captain lineups. So let's say you want to play Ashton Genty in the captain, and you want to exclude Geno Smith, right? So you're just assuming rushing touchdowns. So you exclude Geno Smith, you lock in Ashton Genty, and you go, okay, what do these lineups look like? So let's get 20 of these. Because you could put in whatever configuration you want, right? That's how I use SimLabs. I want to play a lineup that looks like this, right? In general. And then, okay, I pick one of them, and then I make a different configuration. I want a non-Bo Nix lineup. Like, let's take a look at what that looks like. Here's an Ashton Genty. Here's the highest rated Ashton Genty captain lineup that we have in SimLabs, 93.77. It leaves 3,100 on the table. Okay, Genty in the captain, Jack Betch in the flex, Nick Sutton, Lutz, Engram. 3,100 remaining. This is a lineup I'm looking for. Like, even though the lowest owned player is Evan Ingram, you're leaving 3,100 on the table, which automatically means you're going to be much less duplicated than you were previously. Here's one that leaves 1,300 on the table, 1,900 on the table, 5,300 on the table. This one SimLabs rating of 90.88, leaves 5,300 on the table. Genty, Carlson, Betch, Nix, Franklin, Engram. It's not like, you're leaving 53 on the table, but look at this lineup. Are you playing like guys that are coming out from the stands in order to play one snap? Are you playing, guys that are projected for nothing? Are you playing Alec Bachman if he's active? Trent Sherfield? Someone like that. Michael Brady? Michael Bandy? I don't even know who it is. Ian Thomas? Right? The 17th tight end? You don't have to play any of those guys. You can still play the actual people that are going to score points and still leave 5,000 on the table. These are the lineups you should be looking for. SimLabs rating of 90s. Pretty damn good for a lineup that leaves 5K on the table. So that's the reason where there's a lot of Ashton Genty lineups. He's probably under-owned in the captain. Let's take a look at what is a non-Bo Nix. So I'm going to exclude Bo Nix. Just Bo Nix in the captain and Bo Nix in the flex. He's going to be the most owned player on the slate. He's the highest projected player on the slate. He's probably going to be in 90% of lineups. And most lineups that are profitable, that are plus EV, have Bo Nix in it. But there are going to be some that don't have Bo Nix in it. So what do those lineups look like? So I'm going to use the player filters to exclude both of them, right? Both in the captain and the flex. And I'm just curious. What do those lineups look like? And here we go. Top lineup is, obviously a lot of Raiders. Bowers, Genty, Smith, Betch, Franklin, Denver defense. Okay. 1,100 remaining. Going to be less duped. There's one with even lower ownership, right? You're playing both Denver running backs together. Doesn't that make a little, common sense? You're not playing Bo Nix. Play Bowers, Smith, Betch, Sutton, Dobbins, Harvey. And you just hope there's more, rushing touchdowns. Even though Harvey could catch a touchdown, right? Dobbins gets a touchdown. Harvey gets a touchdown. Sutton gets a passing touchdown, right? And there you go. There's the Broncos points. And then Geno throws to Brock 74 times. And that's fine. There you go. But you can see here the SimLabs ratings start to go down pretty quickly. So the amount of non-Bo Nix lineups that are plus EV are obviously less. Right, here's one with J.K. Dobbins in the captain. Here, 3,100 remaining. J.K. Dobbins in the captain with Franklin, Engram, Genty, Bowers, and Betch. A lot of Jack Betch. We have his project. For 2K, I guess he projects well enough for 2K that he just shows up in a lot of lineups today. So build your lineups for Thursday night football. You can do so tonight. Make sure you check out the 7:30 p.m. Eastern pre-lock show that comes up with I don't know who's hosting it tonight. Probably Chop. Chop's typically on. Hit that notification bell to always know when we go live. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door. And if you want to get SimLabs, our new SimLabs Plus package, you get full access to SimLabs for the 4 major sports. You get our stat pack databases like Plate IQ, Court IQ, Gridiron IQ, Weather Edge. You get all of our premium written content and stuff for NFL, NBA, MLB, and PGA. And yeah, so click on that link in the description, get more information about that, and I'll see you next week for some more NFL SimLabs analysis here on RotoGrinders.com.